Mastering the art of learning is essential in today's fast-paced world. With the right approach, anyone can acquire knowledge quickly and effectively. Here are 10 comprehensive mind tricks to help you learn anything faster and smarter. 1. Break it down into smaller chunks. When faced with a large volume of material, the brain can easily feel overwhelmed. Breaking content into smaller, digestible chunks makes learning more efficient. Think of it like assembling a puzzle. Piece by piece, you eventually see the whole picture. For example, if you're learning about human anatomy, start with one system, such as the skeletal system, before moving on to the muscular or circulatory systems. By focusing on one section at a time, you avoid overloading your memory and give your brain the chance to process and store information effectively. This method also helps you maintain motivation, as each completed chunk feels like an accomplishment. Chunking is particularly useful in subjects with complex interrelated concepts, such as mathematics or programming. It allows you to master the basics first, building a strong foundation that makes advanced material much easier to grasp. 2. Use visualization techniques. Our brains are hardwired to process images more effectively than text or abstract ideas. When you use visualization techniques, you turn information into vivid mental pictures that are easier to recall. For instance, if you're trying to memorize the parts of a plant, imagine a colorful diagram where each component stands out clearly. Assign bright colors to the roots, stem, leaves, and flowers, and visualize how each part functions in real time. If you're learning about historical events, picture yourself in the scene, see the bustling streets, hear the sounds, and feel the emotions of the time. Visualization isn't limited to academic material. If you're learning a new skill, such as public speaking, imagine yourself delivering a flawless speech to an engaged audience. This technique not only aids memory but also boosts confidence, as your brain starts associating success with the vivid images you've created. 3. Teach what you learn. One of the fastest ways to deepen your understanding of any topic is to teach it to someone else. Teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, simplify complex ideas, and identify any gaps in your knowledge. For example, after reading a chapter about economics, explain the key concepts to a friend or even to yourself in front of a mirror. The process of putting your thoughts into words helps solidify the material in your mind. If your audience asks questions, it pushes you to think critically and develop a deeper understanding. Teaching doesn't have to be formal. You can create content, such as a blog post, video, or podcast, where you share what you've learned. Not only does this reinforce your learning, but it also helps others, creating a win-win situation. 4. Connect new information to existing knowledge. Our brains function like a web, thriving on connections between pieces of information. When you tie new knowledge to what you already know, it creates a stronger neural network, making recall easier and faster. For example, if you're learning about the water cycle, connect it to your daily life, like how rain fills rivers, providing water to drink. If you're studying a foreign language, relate new vocabulary words to similar-sounding words in your native language. This method is especially effective for abstract or technical subjects. When learning about computer programming, link concepts like variables and functions to everyday activities, such as labeling containers or following a recipe. These associations make complex ideas more relatable and less intimidating. 5. Focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is often mistaken for efficiency, but it's a major hindrance to deep learning. Your brain can only focus on one demanding task at a time. Splitting your attention reduces the quality of your work and the amount you retain. Dedicate uninterrupted time to a single task. For example, if you're learning to play the guitar, set aside 30 minutes where you solely practice chords and strumming techniques. Avoid distractions like checking your phone or thinking about unrelated tasks. Focused learning not only improves retention but also builds a sense of flow, a mental state where you're fully immersed in an activity. This flow state enhances both enjoyment and productivity, making the learning process feel more rewarding. 6. Use mnemonics and memory aids. Mnemonics are powerful tools for encoding information in a way that's easy to remember. By associating facts with catchy phrases, rhymes, or acronyms, you can recall them with minimal effort. For example, to remember the planets in our solar system in order, you might use the phrase, "My very educated mother just served us nachos: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune." Memory aids don't have to be verbal. Visual mnemonics, such as drawing simple sketches or symbols, can also enhance recall. For instance, to learn the structure of an atom, you might draw a diagram with labeled electrons and a nucleus, using color-coded symbols for protons, neutrons, and electrons. 7. Repeat to remember. Repetition is one of the oldest and most effective methods for learning. The key is not just to repeat but to space out the repetitions over time. This technique, known as spaced repetition, strengthens your memory and ensures long-term retention. For example, if you learn a new formula in math, review it an hour later, then the next day, then a week later. Each review reinforces the neural pathways associated with the material, making it harder to forget. Repetition doesn't always have to be boring. You can vary your methods, such as rewriting notes, summarizing material, or explaining it to someone else. These varied approaches keep the process fresh and engaging while still reinforcing your memory. 8. Turn learning into a game. Learning doesn't have to be a tedious process. By turning your studies into a game, you engage your brain in a fun and competitive way, which boosts motivation and retention. For example, set up a quiz for yourself with rewards for correct answers. Use apps like Quizlet, Kahoot, or Duolingo, which gamify learning through challenges and achievements. If you're studying history, create a timeline game where you arrange events in the correct order. Gamification not only makes learning enjoyable but also encourages consistent practice, helping you master even the most challenging topics. Thanks for watching. Dive into these tips and take your learning to the next level. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content.